Hey boys, it's HarmNone. In today's video, I'm going to be going over the best locations for all of the businesses within GTA Online, as well as some other key properties that you'll want or need to own depending on what you want to do in online. I tried to keep the price in mind, as well as the proximity to other businesses, as well as the general most useful locations for each of the businesses that we're going to be going over today in mind for this video. Without further ado, let's go ahead and get started with the CEO office, followed by CEO cargo. For your CEO office, I recommend getting the Arcadius Business Center for $2,250,000. Now, everybody says that Maze Bank is somehow the best, and I don't really understand this, because if you're coming from 2 or 3 directions, you're gonna have to make a pretty insane turn to be able to go up the ramp all the way into the Maze Bank Tower, when you could literally just be at Arcadius, which is like right beside it, and just literally drive there. You don't have to go up a ramp. You don't have to do anything as extreme as getting into the Maze Bank Tower. You simply drive up to the front of Arcadius Business Center and you can go ahead and hop in the front door, or of course you can go in through the garage. The garage, by the way, is very protected from oppressors and jets and things like that, because it is an underground parking lot. So you go in here and you've got some safety before you even get into the place, whereas with Maze Bank Tower you can get massacred while you're trying to get up there, especially when you have to go all the way to the ramp, go all the way up the ramp, and then go into the garage. This makes a lot more sense. The Arcadius Business Center is also nearly $2 million cheaper than the Maze Bank Tower, so I just don't see the advantage of Maze Bank, honestly. I think the Arcadius Business Center is absolutely phenomenal. It's definitely the one that I would recommend. Now, as far as your CEO cargo warehouses, I have picked the 5 that I think are the best locations. In fact, I actually own most of these on both of my characters, on console and on PC. All of the CEO cargo warehouses that I've selected for this are large warehouses, because there's no point in getting a medium warehouse or a small warehouse. You should always get a large. The first one that I would recommend is the Darnell Bros warehouse for $3.5 million. The second warehouse that I would recommend is the Logistics Depot warehouse for $2,600,000. The third warehouse is the Wholesale Furniture warehouse for $1,900,000. The fourth large warehouse that I would recommend is the Cypress warehouses for $3,265,000. And the last one is the Walker & Sons warehouse for $3,040,000. These are in a very nice line. You start at the top, go talk to one of your employees within your CEO cargo warehouse, source some cargo, go to the next one, rinse and repeat, go through all of them, and then it's so easy because you don't have to go across the city, 5 times. They're all literally in a line. You go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. In a straight line, it's very easy to do this. Definitely what I would recommend doing is getting these 5 large CEO cargo warehouses. I own most of these. The only one that I don't own, I believe, is the Darnell Bros warehouse, but I'm actually planning on changing that because I have the one at the airport on my Xbox character. I'm going to switch the airport one to the Darnell Bros warehouse because it just makes way more sense. It's so much closer. But yeah, make sure you have your CEO cargo warehouses lined up in a row like this. These are the best locations. They're all large warehouses as well, so really, they are the best ones to own. Now, as for import-export vehicle warehouses, Murrieta Heights for $2,850,000 is closest to both of the eastern side of the map highways, which means you're going to be able to source cars a lot faster, and your sale missions are going to be a lot closer as well. Now, there is a cheaper alternative called La Mesa for $1,500,000, so almost half the price. However, what I don't like about this location is obviously it's a little bit further away, but also it's in a gang territory, and there's a bunch of gang members around. So if you're driving the car to there, or if you're leaving your import-export warehouse and you hit a gang member, or maybe your car backfires, or maybe you're driving too fast, they might shoot at you, causing you to lose some of the value of your car before you get it to your warehouse, and also when you're leaving. So this is kind of less than ideal. So I think for this reason, the Murrieta Heights $2.85 million warehouse is the best one. I personally have the one that's closer to the airport because it's also close to the highways, but it is a lot further down on the map, so honestly it probably isn't the best location, and I think I am going to switch it to Murrieta Heights. So that's it for everything to do with the CEO, whether it's cargo or import-export. Those are the best locations to own. Now we got to talk about the agency. Now for the agency, there's 2 locations that I would recommend. Now I personally have the Little Seoul agency, which goes for $2,010,000. It's in a pretty good location. It's very central. It's very close to all my other businesses and things like that. So I really like this location. However, the Hawick location for $2,830,000 does have a case to be made. It is very, very close to Tequila La. However, it is a little bit further from the Vanilla Unicorn, whereas Little Soul is a little bit closer to both of them, and that's one of the easiest missions, the Recover Valuables security contract. So I think that Little Soul is a little bit better because it's $820,000 cheaper, and it's very central still. Hawick, you have to drive up into the Vinewood Hills, which isn't the end of the world, but I just feel like the Little Soul agency is actually the better spot to be at for sure. So that's it for the agency. I would recommend Little Soul, but Hawick is also a pretty good location. Now for the arcade, Videogeddon La Mesa is my personal favorite choice here. It goes for $1,875,000, and it gives me easy access to some of my other businesses that are in the area. If you didn't know, the arcade has the master control terminal within it, which allows you to resupply all your businesses from one location, as well as source CEO cargo from there, and a few other little things. I really like the Videogeddon La Mesa location because it's just so close to my nightclub and my auto shop, and I think it makes the most sense to own. However, there are some other good locations for the arcade. I just think this one works the best for me and the way that I have everything set up and how I would recommend for you to set things up. Next up for the auto shop, I have the Mission Row Auto Shop. Now, the Mission Row Auto Shop is very, very good, and it's very close to my arcade. However, you could also argue that you could get the auto shop that's just above the arcade on the map. My auto shop costs $1,670,000, which I think is a pretty fair price, and it's also very close to my nightclub, which is why I bought this particular auto shop. It's very easy to get to the highway from here as well, and to cross over to go to the east and west sides of the map. However, I definitely can see a case to be made for the other auto shop that's just above the arcade. Like I said, you could definitely go ahead and pick that one up and then get the arcade that's just a little bit lower down on the map as well. We're going to talk about this a little bit later, but yeah, this is the auto shop that I recommend, Mission Row. As far as the bunker goes, the best bunker to own is the Farmhouse bunker for $2,375,000. Now, people will tell you that Chumash is a good bunker, and I have come to learn as a former Chumash superiority person that Chumash is not very good. The reason that Chumash is not very good is because you have huge mountains to your left, forcing you to either climb up a hill in a relatively slow vehicle to get to your cell locations for your bunker, or you can go down the highway, but the highway takes you way out of the way to come back to where you actually need to go. The farmhouse is very simple. You just simply go down from the farmhouse to wherever your sale location is. It's super easy. The farmhouse bunker is by far the best bunker to own in Grand Theft Auto Online. No contest at all. The farmhouse is the absolute GOAT. Now, yes, you can save like 600 grand by buying the Chumash bunker, but it's not really worth it. Save up the extra money and get the farmhouse bunker. It really is the better location. It makes sale missions so much easier, resupply missions are easier, and the ammunition deliveries are also by far closer with the farmhouse bunker. That's pretty much it for the bunker location. Let's talk about the hangar. And as far as the hangar goes, there's really only 3 locations that you should even consider, and those are all of the 3 hangars that are in the Fort Zancudo military base, because the reason you own these is to grant you access to the military base. You can go into the military base without getting any stars. This also means that on other sale missions for other businesses, you can fly over top of the military base instead of having to go around to the left or right. And you can also just fly right over it if, say, you're going to Paleto Bay or you're coming down from Paleto Bay to the city. The hangar that I recommend the most at Fort Zancudo is Fort Zancudo 3497. It is the cheapest of the hangars, and it's also the closest to the center of the map. So I feel like for that reason, it is the best. Honestly, any of them are really good though. If you want to get the most expensive one, go for it for sure. But I think that 3497 is kind of the way to go. But make sure that you get a hangar at the military base. The ones in the city are not worth owning, that's for sure. For the facility in GTA Online, the best one to own when you're doing the Doomsday stuff is the Ron Alternates Wind Farm facility for $1,855,000. It's the best location for doing all of the setup missions, and it's very close to the center of the map, honestly. Now, it's a little bit annoying to go up the hill to the wind farm, but beyond that, it is just the best location because it's very central. It is a little off to the right, but it is a very central location, and it's close to most of the sourcing missions, and you've got 2 highways that merge right in front of it, so you have a very quick way to get there. So if you're looking to get the best facility location, look no further than the Ron Alternates Wind Farm. As far as the nightclub goes, I have selected the Mission Row nightclub. Now, this is the one that I personally personally own on both of my characters, it goes for $1,440,000, which is relatively cheap. Now there are a lot of great locations. As I said earlier, you could get the nightclub that is right below where my arcade is and then have the auto shop right above it, so all three businesses are in a line just like that. However, I personally like to have my nightclub in the actual city on the left hand side of the storm drain. Same with my auto shop because it is very close to a lot of my other businesses that I have. I also like the Mission Row nightclub because there is a degree of safety when you are going into the garage of this nightclub. You are protected by some pretty tall buildings that surround it, making it a little bit easier if you're getting chased to actually make it into your nightclub, because if somebody's chasing you in a jet or an oppressor or anything like that, it's going to be a little bit harder for them to navigate in there and try to get a shot on you. That's the reason that I really like this nightclub. Also, it's very close to the highway, so you can just quickly get on the highway for most of the sale missions. Overall, this nightclub is definitely my favorite. There is a case to be made for the Vinewood nightclub as well, but I personally think that it's annoying because it literally starts out on a hill, and for some of the nightclub sale missions you have to go back down into the city downhill only to go back uphill to go out to Grapeseed or Sandy Shores, wherever your delivery missions are. And a lot of the nightclub vehicles are pretty slow when it comes to going up hills, so I personally recommend the Mission Row nightclub. I think that it is the best nightclub to own. There you have it. Next up for the MC Clubhouse, this kind of ties into my nightclub choice. My MC Clubhouse of choice is the Pillbox Hill MC Clubhouse for $455,000. It's central, it's in the middle of the city, it's also very close to the Mission Row nightclub as well as the Mission Row auto shop. So very close to both of those things, and if you pick the Little Soul agency, it's also very close to there, meaning that it's very good. It's also extremely close to all of the CEO cargo warehouses that I showed you guys, so I think that this really is the best location. And of course, because of its central location, it makes the motorcycle customer delivery missions go by very quick because they're all very nearby. Now, of course, we have to talk about the actual MC businesses. Now, if you plan on just having the MC businesses purely for your nightclub basement to make you money passively, and you don't plan on actually running your MC businesses yourself, meaning that you supply them and then you sell the individual businesses, the ones that you should buy are the cheapest ones possible. Wherever they're cheapest, just buy them. You also do not need to upgrade these businesses if you plan on just earning the money passively in your nightclub. However, if you are going to actually run these businesses, you will need to put the upgrades on them to make the most amount of money possible. And before we get into this, don't buy the document forgery. I'm going to tell you guys where the best location is for the document forgery, but please do not buy the document forgery business. It is not worth your time to actually run it. And I don't care what you say about the nightclub basement, it's not even worth buying it for the nightclub basement. Just skip out on document forgery altogether. To start out with, for the baking soda or the sugar factory, for most players the Alamo C location for $975,000 will be the best location. It's pretty central and it is close to two of the other best locations for the MC businesses. However, I personally own the Morningwood location, which is close to Del Perro, and this location is very convenient because it makes it easy to get to from some of my other businesses that are located in the city. But the Morningwood location is actually pretty good, but it does cost nearly double of the Alamo C location's cost. So for most players, I'd recommend the Alamo C location. However, if you're trying to be as efficient as possible, I think Morningwood is the best one to own because you can do a trade-off. And I'll explain that again later, but let's talk about the next one. For the Breaking Bad lab or the Crystal lab, the Grand Sonora Desert location is the best. It costs $910,000 and it's literally dead center of the map. Like you basically can't get any more dead center than this. I've also owned the lab near the oil pumps in Los Santos, and it's extremely far away from all the sale missions. It's very close to the highway, but it's just so far away that it's really not worth having it. And it costs a ton more money. So if you're going for a lab, you need to get the Grand Sonora Desert one. It is the best location. Next up, for the counterfeit cash business, the best location for this one is the Grand Sonora Desert location for $845,000. It's very close to the lab, which means you can go between them very, very quickly. Now, I've owned both of the LS and the Blaine County ones. The LS one is down by the beach, and it is just simply way too far away. So the regular counterfeit cash location in the Grand Sonora Desert is actually the best location. Very central, very easy to get to. Honestly, very good. Now for the weed farm, the best location to own is the downtown Vinewood location for $1,358,500, and it is very central. It's actually just below the lab and the counterfeit cash business, so it's very close to the two of them. And to talk about what I was explaining earlier, with the weed farm, you start your sale mission, you end up in Blaine County because that's where all the drop-offs are. Then you go to counterfeit cash, do that sale mission, you'll end back up in the city. Then go to your sugar lockup. When you're back in the city from the counterfeit cash sale, do that, you're going to end up back in Blaine County. Then do your lab sale, and you're going to end up back in Los Santos. It's the most efficient way to do it, and it makes the most sense. As far as the document forgery location, the best one is the city location. It's pretty central. The other one is all the way up in Grapeseed, which is just simply too far away. The city location for the document forgery is also right off of the main highway, so it's very easy to go and do your sale missions. God forbid if you do actually have a document forgery office. So there you go, guys. That is it for all of the best business locations for each business in Grand Theft Auto Online, as well as the best location for the facility. The facility technically isn't a business, but it is definitely a good property to own, so I figured I should probably include it in this video. Anyway, guys, what are some of your favorite locations for your businesses in online? Do you agree with what I said? Let me know down below. Leave a like if you guys enjoyed the video or if you found this useful or helpful. Dislike if you didn't, of course. Subscribe to my channel if you guys are new, and I will see you all in the next video. Until then, take care. Peace.